Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here in Prague today and talk about what I think is my favorite topic, which is mobile and Android. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just to give Google's perspective on the mobile industry and also to talk about Android, which is our biggest investment in this space. Now, before I get started, you've already heard that today we have almost 5 billion mobile subscribers worldwide. And beyond the sheer magnitude of that number and the opportunity that that presents, I wanted to focus on 3 important trends. And these are trends that are really sort of guiding our thinking in product design and software design for mobile. So the first trend is, it's kind of obvious. It's something that's been prevalent and always in my entire life, and that's Moore's law. And so, every 2 years, approximately, the density of transistors on IC chips is doubling. And with that, you get a commensurate increase in processing power. But at the same time, hardware costs are dropping. And in particular, memory is dropping in cost year on year. And as a consequence, we've become now accustomed to every year seeing new devices, and every year finding that they're smarter, faster, and cheaper. And really, if you think back just a couple of years ago, you would have been amazed to actually think of the processing power that we have today on mobiles. The second trend is something a lot more recent than Moore's law, and that's really the density of connectivity. So with every paradigm shift in computing, from mainframe to mini computer, right up to PC, desktop, internet-connected PC, and mobile, we've seen a 10x increase in the number of devices from its predecessor. But most interestingly, we've also seen a 10x increase in connectivity. If you were to set yourself back 15 years ago in 1995, and if somebody was to tell you that in only 15 years there would be billions of devices all interconnected with hundreds of millions of people interacting, you probably would have raised an eyebrow and maybe even laughed. And yet 15 years later, the internet has merged, everything's changed, and everything is connected. The third trend that I want to show and talk a little bit about is the cloud. And this is something close to Google's heart. And by cloud, I mean cloud computing. I mean harnessing the power of massive data center clusters of machines to perform tasks on your behalf. And when you combine the 3 concepts that I've mentioned, so computing, connectivity, and cloud, and you put them all together, you suddenly realize that what you have in your pocket is not a phone, but in fact a supercomputer. And this guides you also in thinking how you might build your products. And mobile phones are different to desktops. They are replete with lots of different sensors. So they have microphones, they have cameras, they have accelerometers, they have gyros, magnetometers, GPS, etc. And when you think about these sensors in connection with what I mentioned earlier, so computing, connectivity, and cloud, you start to think a little bit differently. So specifically, you start thinking about the speaker being a voice. The phone can talk to you. You also start thinking of the camera. The phone can see. It can see around it. The phone has GPS. It knows where it is. It has context. And it has a microphone. It can hear. It can possibly recognize you. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples a little bit later that will take advantage of a lot of these sort of aspects of a mobile device. Before I do that, let me just briefly mention Android. So Android started with a very simple idea at the beginning. And the idea was to provide a powerful, open mobile platform that would help accelerate innovation for the benefit of consumers. And Android is a new operating system built from the ground up, effectively. It's based on Linux. And it was the first mobile operating system that really took the internet put the internet at its core. It's very much a connected device. And you can think of Android as being in the intersection of 3 things. The first thing, is the most obvious thing, is it's an operating system, an open source operating system. The second thing is it's an open developer platform. And the third thing is it's a collection of phones and applications. Any developer can write for this phone, and any handset manufacturer can adopt and install Android on their devices. Now, Android is doing really well. It's even surpassed our most optimistic expectations. And today, we have 60 devices with 21 OEMs, 59 carriers in 49 countries. It's pretty impressive. And actually, if you get a moment later, there's a couple of Android devices up here. You can see some of the latest, greatest pieces of hardware, some very nice devices. You also heard earlier that we're activating, and we announced this in August, 200,000 devices per day. And if you consider that in May, 3 months earlier, we announced we were activating 100,000, that's a pretty steep curve. I'll let you do the extrapolation. The hint here is that it's not a linear curve, it's an exponential curve. Another core important part of Android is the market. And the market is the service that allows you to get access to applications. Google hosts this for free. Today we have 80,000 applications and growing rapidly, developed by thousands of developers worldwide, available in 24 different countries around the world. Okay, so now to the fun part. I'm going to try to do a couple of demos. And what I want to do is show you some of my favorite features and products of Android. There's always a risk when I do demos that things are going to break. So here goes. So first thing we want to do is turn on this projector, if we could, please. So the first demo I'm going to talk about is voice search. So voice search is a really good example of cloud computing. What we do is we take the device, we record your voice, we encode it, and we stream it up to the server. And then on the server, we do all the heavy lifting. We do all the complex speech recognition, and then we get a set of hypotheses of what you said, give that to our search engine, and then get the search results right back at you. And voice search is really valuable. I mean, it's fun to demo because it brings an element of sci-fi to the phone, but it also has immense value. So it turns out that you can speak faster than you can type. So it makes a lot of sense to speak into a phone. But on the other hand, you actually listen slower than you read. So it makes sense to just simply show the search results so that you can read them directly. And today, we announced, as some of you may have noticed, a new language model, which is for Czech. And so we've been working on this very hard for the last couple of months. And I'm delighted to say that we finally got the system ready to launch. Unfortunately, I don't speak Czech very well. So what I'm going to do is invite Jarda up to do a couple of demonstrations for us.
Jedna, dvě. My jsme se snažili Davea naučit některý český jazykolamy, ale neodolával, takže ukážu já jenom. Takže jenom, jak to funguje, poměrně jednoduše, stačí na Androidovém telefonu na chvíli podržet to tlačítko s vyhledáváním. Křemílek a vochomůrka. No. Křemílek a vochomůrka. Jo, samozřejmě, to je jeden dotaz. Já vám ukážu ještě několik dalších. Kde je to rychlejší než psát? Počasí Český Krumlov. Kdy dostanete rovnou předpověď počasí, aniž byste museli něco hledat. Ta technologie takzvaných one-boxů a univerzálního hledání v tomhle směru pomáhá hodně. Ale třeba věc, kterou lidi moc neznají, že Google umí fungovat jako měnová kalkulačka. A protože ví, že používáme češtinu a používáme český Google, tak stačí říct, kolik v té cizí měně. 25 euro. $38 švýcarských franků. Jo. Vidíte, že on rozpozná číslovky, napíše je správně, občas to napíše jako slovo, tak je potřeba to zopakovat a řekne vám přímo, kolik je to korun. Stejným způsobem můžete hledat restaurace, hotely, všechny tyhle věci, kde je výhoda, že rovnou dostanete telefonní číslo a můžete ho zmačknout. A jedna z věcí jenom, jak si to poradí s češtinou a poslední ukázka. 333 stříbrných stříkaček.
Thanks a lot. One of the things with speech recognition is the more usage it gets, the better the accuracy becomes. For US English, which we've launched, have had launched for 2 years, we've had a lot of time to tune it. And the way we measure accuracy is not by word error rate, not by how many insertions or deletions of the words you would need to do to fix it, but rather something we call web score. And we define web score to be the percentage of times that you get the correct result at the top position. And so for US English, our web score is currently at 75%. So 3 out of 4 times it will get your query perfectly correct. For the other times, you can get corrections and go down and correct different words. One thing I want to show you before I move on is some new speech technology that we're working on. So this is very cutting edge. It's not available in Czech yet, and it's stuff we're working on. So let me show you 3 examples. I think we'll need to go to the projector again, please. Okay, so we have our projector here. So the first thing I want to, so what we've been working on is we're thinking about like how do we go beyond just using your voice for search? How can we use your voice to control the phone, to perform actions? So we call this voice actions. The idea is to allow you to do complex things, but common things that you would do on your phone and make it really easy. So let me try this. The feedback with the audio makes it a little bit hard, so I'm going to hold the microphone a little bit further away. Let's try this. So I'm going to try sending a text message. Send text to Louise, have you put your photos on Facebook yet? So you can see here that it got the text to Louise. It got the text mostly right, put your photos on Facebook yet. I can press send, and immediately it will send the text message. In cases where the recognizer wasn't 100% confident of what you said, you can see it highlights words. So the word yet is highlighted. I can click on that and get a list of alternates. So another voice action that we've been working on is to use the power of Google at the back end. We have an immense information on businesses all around the world. And often, the common thing you want to do is call a business and you don't have the number for it. So with this, I can call any business in the world. If I say the location, it will use that location. If I say no location, it will use the device's GPS to use that as context. So I'm staying in the Hotel Majestic, and I can simply call it like this. Call Hotel Majestic. And you can see straight away, it got the phone number for the Hotel Majestic in Prague and places a call, which I should stop, or they might check me out a little bit sooner than I expected. Okay. The third example that I want to show you, hopefully we have audio on the phone, is connecting with a music service. Well, I'm a big Spotify fan. Spotify is a cloud-based music service. And I'm standing on a stage, I'm in a nightclub, I've got a radio mic, I feel like Madonna, and everybody knows the new Madonna is Lady Gaga, so let's put on some Lady Gaga. Listen to Lady Gaga. Okay, you can listen to more of that later. Cool. So the third example, or second example that I want to show you is something we call Google Goggles. And Goggles is an interesting idea. It's basically using the phone's eyes, the camera. The concept's simple. You see something, you don't know what it is, take a picture, and Google will do an analysis and give you search results. So let's say, for example, you had seen a movie poster. So I'm going to actually plug out the microphone here. Hopefully this doesn't make too much noise. Okay, did, sorry. So what I can do is, I see a movie poster, don't know what it is, this is for Avatar. I can take a picture of it. So let me do that here. So I've taken a picture. It's now scanning the picture, sending the information to Google's cloud, which does an analysis. And there you can see it's recognized a couple of things. It's recognized the fact it's a movie called Avatar. It's recognized the actual text. And it's also recognized there's a music track from James Horner. If I click on Avatar, I then get search results. So you can see it recognized it. I have like IMDb movie ratings, etc. And the second example I want to show you is optical character recognition. So let's say you have a newspaper with a headline that you don't recognize because maybe you don't speak French. Again, you can use Goggles. What I can do here is I can pick a little bounding box, and I can select the text, take a photo. This gets sent to our server, which will then do character recognition on it. So we got the text here. Click on that. And from here, I can translate, pick my language. So let's say I want to translate that to Czech. You click on that, and there you get the Czech translation right there. OK, the third demo I want to show you is you've already seen it on desktop, but I want to show you Street View on mobile. Now, we launched Street View on mobile some 2 years ago, but just a couple of days ago, we've released a new feature which we call Smart Navigation. The idea is just to make it a bit more natural to use. So what you can do is drag your way around the view and zoom. Let me show you how it works. So we're taking advantage of the fact that the phone can feel the touch. It's got a touch screen. So let's see. I'm in Maps. I'm going to tilt that upwards. OK. And then I know of a very nice square in Florence, Piazza, that I want to show one of my friends, because I know there's a very nice cathedral there. So I can click on Street View, and OK, let me turn off something. So I can click on Street View. I can very naturally pan my way around. Now, the new feature that we launched, the Smart Navigation feature, means that I can just drag the peg man here and literally, whoops, I can literally just drag him to wherever I want to zoom to. And then what we do is we use a 3D depth map to animate the transition. So I want to go right up to the cathedral. I can just keep zooming as I get up further and further. I can zoom right in. Here we go. And then, as I get closer, maybe I'm interested in the door. I can just double tap on the door and zoom in. So it's a very natural touch screen. The second thing I want to show you is using another sensor. So this feature has been out for a while, but not everybody's aware of it. The phone, of course, has a compass built in, so that it can actually detect where you are. So we get almost a virtual reality effect. So hopefully I can just show you this. So if we have the camera here, hopefully you can see. And then as I move around, I can literally just pan around, almost like a virtual reality space, right around like this. And there's the cathedral. Cool. OK, final example I want to show you. And hopefully we can now bring the screen back up here. OK, so the feature, while I'm waiting for this screen to appear, I want to talk about something that we call Chrome to Phone. And if you think about it, with this rapid evolution of smartphones, we find ourselves living our daily lives in almost two computing environments, one on the desktop and one on mobile. And it's amazing that the two environments have remained almost totally disconnected. And it's very hard to share information from the desktop to mobile and vice versa. So what I'm going to do is show you how Chrome to Phone works. It's basically a small extension in Chrome which adds this little button at the top. And it's also a small application that runs on the phone. So hopefully we can get the phone picture from the camera up. OK, so you got both. So let's say you're reading a very interesting article on New York Times, you're late for an appointment, and you need to go, but you want to keep reading it on the go. So normally what you would have to do is go to your phone, type in the web address. It's a real pain. With Chrome to Phone, you just simply press on this button, and then boom, it will get transferred to the phone, and the phone will now load the New York Times article like that. So what's happened here is that we're using something that we launched in the latest version of Android 2.2 called cloud-to-device messaging. It's a low-latency, super-fast protocol that allows us to push information to the phone. Now, Chrome to Phone is smart enough to know the type of application you're looking at. So if I'm looking at a YouTube link, it will launch the YouTube application. One of my favorite use cases is when you're on Google Maps. So something I do very often is, I get directions. So let's say I want to get directions from my apartment or somewhere in London, and I want to go to the Google office, which is here, and then I get directions. Normally what people do at this point is they print the directions or they try to memorize it. But of course, the natural thing to do, and I'm just going to make sure my phone is still switched on, the natural thing to do is you want to have those directions on your phone to bring with you. So again, all I have to do is press the Chrome to Phone button. The information gets sent to the phone. The phone recognizes, oh, this is a map. and it launches the Maps app. And from here, I can look at the directions, show it on a map, and navigate my way. The final example, and I think this is my favorite one, and I think you'll like it too. Many people use Google as a kind of yellow pages. So you're searching for a business to get the phone number so you can call it. So let's say I'm looking for Selfridges in UK, which is a big department store. And you'll see immediately the phone number appears here. Now, what's really strange is at this point, what do? Well, you take your phone and you manually transcribe the numbers and make sure you don't make a mistake. And this is crazy, because it's crazy because the phone's connected to the cloud, the laptop's connected to the cloud. They can just talk to each other. It should be pure physics, right? Why do I have to involve biology? And so all I have to do is click on this button here. We send the number to the phone recognizes it's a number, it launches the dialer, and I can just go and dial straight away. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the demo. I'm actually going to launch Chrome to phone a little bit later on for the Czech language. So if you see me in the corner with my laptop, that's what I'm doing. This is a personal project that I worked on. And with that, let me just wrap up and say a big thank you for listening.